Last month, we did over $200,000 in revenue. But honestly, if I could go back 3 to 6 months, we would have hit that figure way faster. So the purpose of this video is to break down what I would have done differently, because so many people think to get to 6 figures a month or multiple 6 figures a month, you need to have the best leads or the best content or the best authority in the market, when actually that's not the case. It's about the decisions that you make as a founder that lead you into that revenue goal. So let's break it down. The first thing that I would have done differently is not settled for cheap hires. So what do I mean by this? Well, there is a term that is used a lot, and it's actually about hiring A players. So the people in your business that are going to go above and beyond, which then create a cause and effect so that all of your other team members in your team start to perform. They're complete outperformers, right? I'll give you an example. A B player might be someone that comes into your business, let's say as a salesperson, and they're calling leads every single day and they do 100 dials a day. They're on target, but they're pretty much just floating their way through to their paycheck. Whereas an A player is someone that goes above and beyond, whether that's training the new people out of their own kind of free will, right? Like they just want to be able to help and drive the business. They're doing 200, 300, 400 dials a day. They're going through the pipeline. They're making sure that every single lead has a fair chance in the business, looking at, suggesting different product lines, different services, making sure that they're even putting their input into the team meeting. That's the type of person that you need to build a business to 7 figures a month. Now, I am not at 7 figures a month. I never claimed to be, but I am at multiple 6 figures. And that has been the biggest lesson that I've learned recently, that I need to make sure that I am just hiring A players. Now, it's so easy to hire someone cheap, right? Like we've all done it. If you're at the point where you're doing 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, you might hire someone on commission, or you might hire someone that's doing, the basic, the bare minimum, right? For a couple of grand a month. But actually, that is a major setback in your business. So one of the things that I would have done 6 months ago is reviewed all of my team, looked at the performance, given everyone a fair chance, but then really started to evaluate what would be a key attribute for an A player in my business right now so that we can get to that next level. Once I understand that key attribute, give everyone a fair chance, but if they don't perform like an A player, I would have fired them, okay? Because that is what culture I need in my business. I need people to go above and beyond. Now, they're going to get rewarded fairly for it, right? And, even better than fairly. In fact, one of my top sales reps makes over 5 figures a month, okay? So it's not about paying people peanuts. It's actually about finding people that are going to go above and beyond to actually drive the business forward. And I guess it leads on to my second point, right? It's actually just firing people when they are dead wood in your business. Now, I'll give you an example. There was a guy in my business who was pretty much coasting, okay? And this was about 2 months ago, just coasting, doing the bare minimum, making a bit of money for the business, which is great, making a bit of money for himself, again, great, but realistically wasn't doing, the utmost, right? Like wasn't pushing themselves to that next level. And yeah, for me, it was just a case of, dragging it on a bit too long. I was taking too long to actually fire this specific person. And actually, when we fired that person, we realized that it wasn't just the performance of him that affected the business. It was the whole team. So the whole team then performed so much better because they were looking at this said person and just replicating the behavior on a daily basis, right? So I really recommend, if you could take one key lesson from me or from anyone else that is doing multiple 6 figures a month, look at your team and make sure that you are hiring A players, or at least understanding what an A player is in your business so you can work towards that goal and fire the dead wood as quickly as possible. Now, the next one that I want to talk about, and this is mainly for you guys that are doing multiple 6 figures a month through paid ads, right? Like we are. So we pretty much solely rely on paid ads, okay? Now, I appreciate that's probably not the best business model. You need to make sure you have other acquisition channels, but paid ads is definitely going to be the highest leverage for us, and it is for most businesses. And one of the things that I've learned is you need to make sure that you're scaling paid ads aggressively until it breaks, okay? So there's been plenty of times, well, in fact, every single month in our business, we're more than profitable, right? So we're profitable every single month. And I sit there and look at it and be like, why are we not scaling the ads? And I'm not the one that's, pushing this actively when I should be as the founder of the business. You need to focus on scaling the ads until it literally breaks. There's no point being scared about scaling aggressively, because especially when you're doing multiple six figures a month, you've likely got some capital in the bank. You've got some reserves there. You're good to go. If you have one bad month where you actually push the ads beyond belief and it goes a bit tits up, then you will survive, okay? You will be absolutely fine. It's not something I recommend to someone doing 5K a month, right? Spending £20 a day. But like in the case of us, we spend multiple four figures a day on ads. And actually, we're profitable pretty much every single day. And then at the end of the month, we're super profitable, right? So one of the things that I've learned, and I took this from a mastermind I recently went to, was scale aggressively until it breaks. Don't just scale like 5% on your ad spend. If it's working, it's working. Double down on that one machine that's working and pour money into it, because essentially it's a cash machine, right? It's a printer, it's a money printer. You put, let's say, £1 in and you get £3 out, but then you decide to only spend £1,000 a day and you get £3,000 out. Well, why not actually increasing that daily until you get to the point where you start to identify further bottlenecks in your business and then you actually scale. So that's one of the things that helped us go from like that 100K mark to multiple six-figure mark, right? Was just scaling until something breaks, then looking at what breaks, fix it, and then scale aggressively again. Now, I know that the journey from 200K to $1 million a month, which is my goal this year, is going to be really challenging. And I know for a fact we cannot just rely on scaling until it breaks, but it's definitely going to be a contributing factor to get to that, multiple, well, let's just say 500K a month, 700K a month, right? Maybe even $1 million a month. I've not done it yet, so I'm not 100% sure, but that is what we are going to be focusing on. Scaling aggressively until it breaks. So I want every single person watching this video, if you are at the point where you're doing 10K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month, 100K a month, 150K a month, 200K a month, right? Scale aggressively until it breaks. The next thing I would have done so differently is actually implemented a system where the business is not as heavy reliant on me. Now, it's not because I don't want to work, but it's because as you're scaling, you get pulled in multiple directions, right? Whether that's from a marketing perspective, a sales perspective, whether it's just customer success, whether it's general support, whether it's IT, even though I'm shite at IT, right? I would have built more systems, which I have now, so that the business relies less on me. So for example, SOP libraries. It's as simple as that. SOPs are going to be your clear, pathway to be able to step away from the business so you can hire right and you can get the right A players into your business. So one of the things that we had, let's say 6 months ago, was messy SOPs. So SOPs that were put together, were rushed. We would then hire someone, then they're asking questions about what's on the SOP. And since then, we've gone back and restructured our whole SOP library so that everything is specifically dialed. Because the point of SOPs is so that you can actually just give someone let's just call it a brain dead guide to do basic tasks and then work on those tasks to help save your time. That is what is going to get you to that next level in business. So SOP library for sure was something that we implemented and it worked really well. Now, this is across sales, marketing, finance, even down to like paying your team commissions, right? You might have someone in your team that's paying commissions and it's quite a simple job. But that is one thing that like we've automated and put in SOPs, and it's just saved so much time. And then the kind of final thing on that, really, about not being so heavily reliant on myself, is KPI dashboards. Okay, actually spending a lot of money on building a dashboard that is going to allow us to be able to track absolutely everything internally, so that we're not going between Google Sheets, Airtable, Hyros, all of these things, and trying to piece all the puzzles together ourselves. Like, we want our own internal dashboard. And that's what we've done now, okay? And it's also helped motivate our team because we've been able to put together a clear leaderboard so that they compete, healthy competition against each other to make more and more money. But also it allows us to be able to track every single metric. And the morning meetings are way more efficient because we actually discuss the metrics and the data of the business so we can go forward, rather than just having a conversation about getting deals in here or how's this client doing or whatnot, right? So they're like the key things that I would have done differently to get to 200k a month like faster, and it's definitely what we're going to be doing. I'm sure we're going to find more things along our journey to get to that $500,000 mark first, and then that $1 million mark before the end of the year. One thing I will say as well is, like, if you're watching this video and you are a beginner agency owner, this isn't really going to be relevant to you. But if you're not, and you're someone doing 10, 20k, 30k, 40k, 50k a month, take the gems from this video, start implementing it, because I could have saved 6 months on this journey doing multiple 6 figures a month. Okay, so make sure that you take these. It's just a raw talking video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe as well, and I'll see you in the next one.